Welcome to the episode 11 Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down episode 6, 7, and 8 of The Mole Season 2. We had an incredible first batch where we saw 4 people get eliminated: Melissa, Andy, Jennifer, and Tony. And then, of course, we had an incredible exemption bid on the last episode, episode 5. It was crazy. It was wild. But before we dive in, thank you guys so much for tuning into last week's episode of The Mole Season 2, episodes 1 through 5. The batch was insane and crazy. And I'm so excited to talk about The Mole. It's one of my favorite reality TV shows. Well, let's just dive right in because it's too intense not to. When we left off, but somebody had the chance to bid on the exemption. Somebody bid $59,500. They bid the entire pot to get the exemption. Q was pissed. Hannah said hopes it doesn't go for anything outrageous. Of course, the pot is at 0. Deanna says, might as well just send me home. I don't even know why I'm here anymore. I mean, it's kind of true. Like, I won the mole, but what did you win? $0. Q's pissed. Shauna's pissed. Ari gives them the chance to out themselves, and Niche raised his hand after Q said he trusted him. Hannah is pissed, which, let's calm down a little bit, Hannah. You cost the pot like 30 grand like 2 episodes ago. You know what I mean? Let's not be too crazy here. Hannah's pissed, of all people, like, for real. That kind of blew my mind. Muna turns her desk completely around so she can't even see Niche anymore. Niche said he did it because he hasn't been playing selfish, and it was his turn to kind of play selfish. Everyone is going in on Niche big time. Everyone storms out and they are pissed. Hannah's still running her mouth, which is hilarious because she cost him $30,000. Now, yes, is this $30,000 more than that? Yes, but come on, let's not pretend you didn't cost them some money early on in this show. I love Niche here though because he kind of plays the bad guy off, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it. Deal with it. Bring it on. Yell at me, scream at me, whatever. I had to do what I had to do." I will say this: if he isn't the mole, people may look at him as the mole, so that could help him in the long run. Niche obviously apologized to people for letting him down. He said he was sorry, but he said if he said he was sorry, it would be disingenuous because he would do it again. Again, this is the thing that I love about this moment. I love that he owned what he did. Period. End of story. Ari said there will be chances to rebuild the pot, but not before someone goes home. I want to know everyone's bid on the exemption. That's something I wish that we knew because I swear I need to know everybody's answers. All right, who will join Melissa, Andy, Jennifer, and Tony? First up, Sean, Hannah are safe. And our third person to get their name called is Q. And Q is gone. This one hurt. I'm going to be honest with you. This one hurt me a little bit because I love Q. He's hilarious. He's funny. His facial expressions, all of those things. He was literally my favorite player. Our final 7: Muna, Sean, Niche, Deanna, Ryan, Hannah, and Michael. All right. However, a twist. A twist is amongst us. It's the mole. What would you expect? Anything less from this show? We get a twist. However, they can vote for Q to return the game. If he does, 20K will be added to the pot. First off, I agree with Niche, Michael, Ryan, and Sean. They all said, no way, Jose. Exactly. Why? I ain't bringing somebody in here. He knows who isn't the mole based on his answers. I'm not bringing somebody else back in here to get a cut of my pot because if they continue on and I voted him back in and I get eliminated before them, no thanks. The strategy's in their court. Hannah, Deanna, and Muna said yes because they wanted to add money to the pot. It wasn't a majority vote. However, here comes Q walking back in. So it wasn't about the majority vote. In order for Q to come back into the game, he must tell them how many people said yes and how many people said no. When asked who said yes, Sean and Michael raised their hands. Michael tried to chime in, but Muna called him a liar. Sean puts on a hell of a performance, which was absolutely magnificent. I mean, this dude gave the performance of a lifetime saying, yes, it was me. I voted yes. I wanted you back. You're my boy, blah, 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 blah. Muna calls it out, point and simple. She said 4 people said no, 3 people said yes. She tells him, look her in the eyes and see that she's not lying. She was serious. And Q was not sure. He almost took Sean for his word. Instead, he says 3 said yes, 4 said no. He's back in the game, and $20,000 is as well. But in my opinion, This is very much a mole move by Muna. And I say, look, I don't know why. I can't really explain it because it's adding $20,000 to the pot, but I just feel like there's a twist here that might be something, unforgiving. I can't explain it, but this is a very Muna like, or very mole like move by Muna here. Next mission is straight out of Indiana Jones, as they're going to go through a daring cave raid. They must successfully go to 2 different chambers. Only one of when they get there, there's going to be 4 idols. Only one of the 4 idols is worth cash. Heights in small places. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I want to go on the mole just about as much as any reality TV show out there. This one's probably at the top of my list. However, I will say this. The tight places in the caves, I don't know, man. Like this one, you had an option. I'd be point blank, look, I'm sorry, guys. I'm fucking muscle if I have to be. I ain't going to these caves. 100% out on these small places. They can bank that, they can take the money. They can call me the mole. They can do whatever they want. I'm sitting back and vibing on this mission, period. Okay. Obviously, we had the heights, so I'd be the heights guy. All right. They could bank $40,000 in this mission, only have 1 hour to complete. Deanna is struggling. Like me, I would be mortified. I watched her struggle. I felt claustrophobic watching her be claustrophobic. Michael is struggling and ain't sure if he's doing it on purpose or not. People are questioning Deanna's fear or not. That woman's terrified, okay? Don't be questioning Deanna and her terrified nation, like how terrified she was of this. I looked in her soul. I saw her soul and saw she was scared. Niche fucked up. Everyone is pissed off. They try to take charge again. Niche keeps taking charge and keeps screwing up. Q is smart as hell. Q get brought back. But then I was like, did Q get brought back? Maybe because he was a mole. I know he had the test questions wrong, and they would always be. But wouldn't that be a crazy twist if like Q was the mole? I thought that would have been really cool. All right, River Team brought back the tiger. Rope Team brought back the fish. River Team brought back the right idol. $20,000. The pot is now $40,000. Rope Team addict. You heard me. 0. All right, elimination time. All right, moving on to episode 7. Elimination time. Everybody, we had quite a few picks safe. Q, it was red again. Q is gone back to back to. So not only did you not get the mole the first time, you came back and had another chance, and you lost again. Like that to me, I guess the best thing about that is, I mean, obviously it threw my idea that maybe Q was the mole out the window, but yeah, back-to-back quizzes, and you failed both of them. So Melissa, Andy, Jennifer, Tony, and now Q have been eliminated from the competition. All right, next we're going to IPO. I think it's called IPO. We're going to call it IPO. On the mission, their objective is to beat the bomb. They could potentially win $30,000. They have to work hard to. They have to work out how to defuse the bombs. Ryan and Michael team up. Niche, Sean, and Deanna. Hannah and Muna team up here. Sean, Niche, Deanna nailed it. They were able to unlock the bomb, finally able to talk to Hannah and Muna, who also were able to do it. Hannah and Muna added $10,000 to the pot. However, Niche's team were not, but it was a sacrifice to get at least $10,000. All right, it was down to Michael and Ryan. Nobody could get like comms into these guys. They took forever, couldn't figure out what the hell they were doing. They were supposed to cut the blue, but instead they cut the yellow. Very mole-like, very crazy, very wild. Ended up only banking $10,000, bringing the pot up to $50,000. All right, on the ride back, we have 2 cars. They are paused. They are now able to cut shady deals. The players in the car are now your team. Each team must choose their best negotiator to do the right thing. Deanna doesn't want it to be Niche because she's like, nah, Niche, you do this all the time and you're just question mark. So she picks Muna over Michael. It was revealed that Sean was an undercover cop. Hannah was floored. This like blew her mind. So it's Sean versus Muna, and the briefcase is $50,000, but he also had an exemption for the entire team. If they both pick cash, they will walk out with $50,000. If they both pick exemption, they get nothing. However, if someone picks exemption and the person picks cash, the people in the car will get the exemption but no cash. In Sean's envelope is the exemption, which isn't a surprise at all, right? That's like 1,000% expected here. However, in Muna's card is an exemption as well. Sean was 1,000% convinced that he had played Muna. She's too smart for that. Again, maybe that's why she's the mole. All right, they could have made $80,000 today, but they only made $10,000. And then, of course, we got a little pissing contest amongst the crew. All right, elimination time. Who's going to join Melissa, Andy, Jennifer, Tony, and Q? And boy, oh boy, do we have a massive elimination. Michael safe, Deanna safe, Muna safe, Sean safe. Niche is gone. A lot of people's pick for who they thought was the mole. No, sir! No, sir. Niche is not the mole. Huge domino. I'm shocked. It's crazy as you took that big ass exemption and you needed it apparently because now you're gone. Gone. All right. Michael, Ryan, Sean, Hannah, Muna, and Deanna are our final 6. All right. 2 hours prior to breakfast, Ryan and Deanna were kidnapped and randomly selected to be hidden somewhere on the island. Now they must work together to find them. They can add $50,000 to the pot. They can call, but every call costs $5,000, and it's only a 15-second call. It's 2 hours to find them. Ryan gives some of the worst information, very mole-like behavior here, 1,000%. Hannah, strong game player, very, very strong game player. Calls out the red barn and they stop, but they start to scream. They're able to hear one another. Now they must unlock the fence. They unlock the door. Ryan and Deanna must unlock their own chain. So they have to get 2 keys to get to Ryan and Deanna, and Ryan and Deanna have to get the 1 key inside there. They found 1 key. Muna found 1 key, but left the other one behind. Ryan and Deanna unlock the chains outside the team. They unlock the 1. However, they tried the other key on it. It didn't work. When they go back to the house, they find the 2nd key relatively fastly, and notice how close it was to the other key. People blame Muna for not seeing it. With 8 seconds to spare, they get Ryan and Deanna out of the barn. They earned $35,000 because they made 3 phone calls, so they subtracted 15. They now have $85,000 in the pot. Ari reveals not only will 1, but 2 people will go home tonight. I swear, I was watching this and I was like, I would not be surprised if the pot goes back down to $0 heading into the finale. They get an invitation when they get back to the room. Deanna reads it out loud. 1 player is invited to join Ari for lunch. The best person is someone they trust to add to the pot. Deanna announces she would be the person. Deanna says she doesn't want Muna to go after what she did. Everybody kind of piles up on Muna, who gets like all defensive. Muna isn't getting a vote after the key situation. Obviously, Hannah said she would be the best option. She doesn't want the exemption. I'm sorry, but the last person I'm sending to this thing is Hannah, and that's who they agreed to do it. I could not in a million years believe. Again, Hannah has to be one of the best strategic players we've seen in reality TV history. She coerced Tony into giving her the exemption early on. She talked Tony, like carried Tony to a point where she kicked him to the curb, and then she kind of fell back into the saddle and was like, just playing the game. And now she's back out in the front and is like, yeah, guys, I've been trying to add money to the pot. I'm so sorry. I've been doing other. And then they pick her. Will they regret it? Let's talk about it. So there's a 5-course meal. $1,000, $20,000, correction, exemption, and game over. When you leave the table empty-handed. Now, this is the thing. This twist should have been game over. She gets to walk away with the money, or like half the pot. Go home with half the pot. Like, that would have been more enticing for me to hear something along those lines. I think that would have been awesome. She could pick any basket. If she picks a basket, it reveals whatever it is. She could pick it or toss it, but she runs a risk of getting the game over, which then throws her out of the show, or throws her out of the adding money to the pot or anything like that. So the mole sent her a message and said, $20,000 is under number 2. Obviously, she's like, no. She thought either number 2 had $20,000 or the game would have been over. Smart choosing. She chose 3. I chose 3 sitting at home watching this. It was the $20,000. She nailed it the first try. However, Ari announces to her that this is the last exemption that will be offered in the game. The mole gave her another message that the exemption is under 4. I think the mole's telling the truth here. She said she's going to have to do, and of course she talks it out, she's going to do what she has to do that's best for her. Again, Hannah is in a position where she has control, because you got to remember 2 people are going home, okay? There's 6 people left, so 2 people are going home. If she gets an exemption, okay, it's down to the final 4, okay? We're down to the final 4. Like, that's it. Like, we're in the final batch of the episodes. There's 4 people left. If I gotta try to get this exemption, and I believe the mole's telling the truth, because the exemption would mean we're not adding $20,000 to the pot. They don't care about Hannah whether she stays or goes. adding 20K, not adding to the pot is the mole's number one option right now. So obviously, we get a hell of a cliffhanger, which really makes me irritated, which means we're going to wait till the finale. We've got 2 episodes, episodes 9 to 10. Does she gamble or does she take the money? Is such an interesting play here. I think she's going to gamble. I think she's going to get the exemption. I think it's going to be under 4. I would love to hear your thoughts about this batch. This show is getting so good. But before we go, we got 6 people left. We got somebody that's the mole. Let me break down who I think it might be. All right. So Hannah is not the mole. Damn good game player, strategic, one of the best we've seen in recent time, right? Don't think it's Hannah, all right? Deanna, I'm not convinced. I think if she is the mole, maybe I'd be disappointed. I don't even know. You know what I mean? I'm not for it right now, guys. I don't know what it is. I'm just not about it right now. All right. So, Michael. Michael seems to be too obvious, right? Michael seems to be the person that we really think it might be. But I think Michael might be one of the first people to go home if Hannah ends up with the no, you know what? No, I mean Sean. Sean's probably gonna I think Sean, if Hannah gets the exemption, I think Sean and Deanna are gonna go home. Right? I think that would leave us the final 4 of Hannah, Ryan, Michael, and Muna. I think the mole is either Michael or Muna. Okay. No, maybe not. I don't know. I'm really struggling here, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment. These are my final answer. I do think that it's Muna or Michael is our mole. It's just something about these two. Ryan would be a sneaky sleeper, but I'm not 100% sure if I love Ryan being the mole. Not sure of the great gameplay there. Somebody did comment something saying along the lines with her reaction early on whenever the team added money to the pot was something that they kept a watchful eye on, which is brilliant because I love when people like get little tidbits like that. But for me, like I said, Muna or Michael or the mole. I'm settled. Final episode next week. Very much looking forward to it. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. We'll talk to you guys next week.